Ideally, we're gonna be able to close on this warehouse next month and find a tenant where it cash flows a tremendous amount or no money out of pocket. Literally no money. It's insane. This one's an 18,413 square foot warehouse. We're under contract to buy this one. We're buying it for $800,000. We're getting a sweet deal, honestly. It's seller financing. So we're getting it for 10% down. So we're going to put $80K down on this deal. 5.5% interest, 25-year AM, and a 5-year balloon. So basically what that means is the payment's going to be calculated over a 25-year period, but it's going to be paid in full in 5 years. That's how commercial loans are structured. Let me show you inside. All right, come on in. This is the office space. You got a couple offices back here, a lobby. It's great for some kind of trade. This is a little less than 1,000 feet. So the rest of it, 17,400, whatever maybe, is warehouse, which we'll get into just in a second. So this one, like I said, great for any kind of trade. Somebody's gonna store parts for HVAC. Somebody's gonna store pallets. We've been getting a lot of calls about pallet storage. Maybe e-commerce company. But as you can see, it's pretty vast. It's a big warehouse. In terms of rent, in commercial real estate, everything's broken down on a per foot basis, per foot per year. So $5.95 per square foot per year. So at 18,413 times $5.95, you're talking about $110,000 a year. Divided by 12, it's about $9,100 a month. Now our payment on this building, because of the seller financing, is only gonna be $4,500. You're talking about potentially $4,600 of cash flow, and we're putting down $80,000. If we can pull this off and lease this building, it will be an absolute phenomenal deal. It is very hard to find that unless you're getting some kind of seller financing deal. We're really excited about this one. Full transparency, it's nerve-wracking to have a $4,500 a month payment, especially when this is our second building we're buying. But if we can lease it and pull it off, it's gonna be phenomenal. All right, so the coolest thing about all of this is it's easy to say, oh yeah, we're buying this building for $80,000 down and plus our due diligence, maybe we'll be all in for $90,000. People watching are probably like, wow, that's great, cool, 90 grand. That's a lot of money. To me, that is a ton of money. I'm by no means rich or anything like that. What's so cool about this property and this opportunity, this one in particular, my wife and I bought a house, the first house we ever lived in. So we went to a local credit union. We bought it with a 0% down loan. So and it paid for closing costs. So literally had no expenses out of pocket. And I'm an agent. I was able to use my commission to roll into the deal. So basically I made money buying a house, which is sweet. I lived there for a year and then we moved out to an apartment and rented that house. So once we rented the house, we rented it for about 2 years and I approached my tenant and I said, hey, would you be interested in buying this house by chance? And he said, yeah, we would. So I got it appraised and I sold it to him for the appraised value. So in 3 years, we bought it for $175, we sold it for $275. So we made $100,000 off of one house with no money out of pocket, which anybody can do. Anybody can do that. So go out, look for a house, look for a credit union that can do 0 down or can some kind of down payment assistance. And you might not be able to go do that immediately. Get your credit to where you can do that. Just start saving to where if you do need to buy a house, start saving a little bit for a down payment or the extra cost or the closing cost. There's other things associated with that. But anyways, moral of that story is ideally we're gonna be able to close on this warehouse next month and find a tenant where it cash flows a tremendous amount or no money out of pocket. Literally no money. It's insane. So I'm not saying it to brag. I'm only saying it because it should be an encouragement. If you're feeling discouraged or like you can't do it, you can definitely do it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you got some value out of it. We actually did find a tenant just like the last video between the time of filming, and now we actually found a tenant for this deal. We're super excited. We got the actual rent we were asking for, $5.95 a foot. So this deal is hopefully gonna be a game changer for us. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and also be sure to check out our podcast. I'll link it in the description below.